All right, everybody, we are almost ready to start. All right, so the sound good, you know? Sound good. All right, so if you're here, we're getting ready. There is an exam this week, and we're about to go through some questions that will help us to better perform in the upcoming ability exam. So, uh, the moment you log on, you need to hit likes. And if you have not yet subscribed to the channel, please do so. All right, we shall begin. It is 2:30. All right. As you go through, what I want you to do is to send in your answers in the chat as much as possible, right? So you could send in your answers in the live chat as much as possible. We're about to look at the first question, and it reads, it says the value of 82 would be changed by how much if the 8 were placed by 5, right? So we're suggesting that we have 82, and if we were to exchange that 8 for a 5, then how much would it change by? So we simply change it, and then we're going to use subtraction to take us out. So when we subtract here, we get a 0 there and a 8 minus 5, and that's going to give us 3. So definitely number one is B. All right, very good. So we expect our answer to change by 30 if we switch the 8 to a 5. Let's take a look at question 2. All right, if you write down a number, right, the number from 1 to 100, you want to write down all the numbers from 1 to 100. We want to know how many times we would have written the digit 3. All right, so we want to sit down and want to check this out. How many times we're going to write 3 if we're writing from 1 to 100? All right, so let us go through. We're talking about you would see a 3, there would be a 13, there would be a 23, and we're going to check the 30s. So there's going to be a 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39. Then we're going to have like 43, 53, 63, 73, 83, 93. So all we have to do is just to check them off, right? So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So we would have written 20. We would have written the digit 3 20 times. All right. So what you want to do is just to put them down, write them down and check. All right. Try not to make any error. Write them down, check them off. Make sure that we're double checking everything, all right? Because it's very easy to make an error. So we want to make sure that we're not making an error as we go. All right. So we could check. If we feel like we made an error, just double check them, right? All the digits 3 coming up. All right, let's take a look at question 3 itself. Question 3, question 3 itself here. It says here the sum of two numbers, right, is 17. Which of the following is true? Which of the following is true? We are at number 3. Let us see those who could get number 3 right. All right. Which of the following is true? So we want to read through these suggestions here, and then we're going to pick the one that is correct. If the sum of two numbers, if it comes to 17, which one of these statements could be true? Let us go through them quickly. Both numbers are even. To get a 7, if we add any two even numbers, we're not going to get a 7. All right. So this one is off. Any two even numbers will not give a 7, right? What about looking at both numbers are odd? For example, there's a 1 and a 3. There is a 1 and a 5, 3 and a 5. We're not going to get a 7. So we have to go through the responses and make sure that we double check. So when we have an even and an odd, for example, like a 14 and a 3 or a 13 and a 4 or a 16 and a 1, stuff like that, a 15 and a 2. Every time we get a 17, we're realizing there is one odd, there is one even. And you could keep exploring as many numbers as you could to go through there. So the answer would have been C. Excellent. I'm seeing some very good answers coming out. Remember, guys, when you come on the channel, if you have not subscribed to the channel, please do so. Also, hit the likes. I want to see you hitting the likes, right? So that other persons who are searching for stuff like this for this week would actually find the video easily. So hit the likes as soon as you come on and subscribe to the channel. We're at question 4. It says, given that 5 and 3/5 is equal to 5 plus square plus square plus square. We have 3 squares here. So what we want to do is to equate these 3 squares to 3/4, right? Because we already have the whole number 5. So we want to see what does one of these little square boxes represent. You could see if these would link to 3/4, each of them must be a quarter. So question 4, we're looking at the answer and it should be B, all right? Should be 1/4. So we're looking for that. So the fourth question should be 1/4. All right. So let us keep checking. And be careful not to make the error though as we go through, because they didn't ask for, all they asked for is what one of them represent, just one. So we're suggesting that each of them would be a quarter piece, such that when you add up all 3, you would have gotten 3/4. We're representing just one. What does one of them represent? The answer should be B right there. All right. So as we come on, let's check. All right. So question 5 and 6 here, we're going to be finding that missing number in the sequence. So for question 5, I'll suggest that one of the good things that we could do very quickly to find any sequence there, we want to check first using subtraction. And if that's not working, then you could try other stuff. So if I should take the 7 from the 9, I'm going to get a difference of 2. If I take the 9 from the 13, I'm seeing there's a difference of 4. And then when I check this, there's a difference of 8. Or in other words, then, if we use addition, I'm seeing that 2 add to the 7 gives 9. 4 add to the 9 gives us 13. 8 add to the 13 gives 21. So I'm going to be adding 26. I'm going to be adding 16. So let us add 16 plus that 21. So we're looking for 37 for our answer. Our answer should be D. So looking at the pattern, doesn't matter what pattern you see, make sure that it is very consistent going forward. So as you can see, we're doubling. We're adding 2, then 4, then 8, then 16, and it goes on and on. So question 5, the answer should be D. All right, so be careful as we go. Let's take a look at question 6. We're still looking at the pattern. Definitely, I'm seeing that the numerator will be a 1 because all of them are 1. So let us study what's going on at the denominator. There's a 3 followed by a 6 followed by a 12, right? And then we could see what's going to be coming next. You could look. We double the 3, we get 6. We double the 6, we get 12. So I'm going to double the 12. And this is going to land me at 24. So my answer is E, 1/24 for question 6. Good going. I'm seeing some good answers coming out. Very good, very good, very good, very good answers coming out there. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. All right, this says, number 7 says, Susan and Jerry measured their heights. Susan is 142 centimeters and Jerry is 18 centimeters tall. All right, taller than Susan. All right, which is the closest to Jerry's height? So what we're going to do, we're going to use addition first to see where Jerry is. All right, so we're talking about 142, which is Susan's height, and we're going to be adding 18 more to that. So make sure that there is no error. 142 plus 18, double check that. That's going to land us about 160. So this is 160 centimeters. So what we want to do, though, is to make sure that the answers that we're picking, though, is within context, right? So centimeter. So this is way off. That's meter right there. This is like about 200 centimeters right there. So we want to pick something very close to 160 centimeters. The closest to that I'm seeing would be 159. So the question says, which is closest to Jerry's eye? All right. So number 7, the answer should be C right there. To make sure that you're picking up that. So we add the thing, make sure that we see what they're saying, what's going on, and we pick that up. The answer is C for number 7. All right, so number 7 is C. All right, let's get at it. So for number 8, anybody want to quickly state what they have as number 8 answer right there? What do you have for number 8? What do you have for number 8? All right, so for number 8, let's go through. For number 8, so we're checking to see what's going on. So number 8, it says Apollo was fourth in line. So Paula was fourth in line. Mark was 3 places behind her. What was Mark's position in line? So depending on how you want to look at it. So if you're looking at first, so I'm just going to write 1, 2, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, and it goes on. All right, so we're referring to Paula was right here in line, right? So this is Paula right here in line. So a lot of times what you want to do is to make a quick, if you want to do a quick illustration, whether by diagram or writing down stuff, right? Don't do it mentally all the time. You make less error when you write down things. So we're saying Paula is at 4 right here. And then it went further to say that Mark is 3 places behind. So behind, you want to hop 1, 2, 3. So we're expecting that Mark is going to be right here, 3 places behind her at number 7. So the 7th place, exactly. So number 8 would be 7th, right? So we're expecting A to be that response. Excellent, excellent, very good answers coming out. Let's take a look at this graph. A lot of times the graph may be problematic, but what we want to do here is just to take a look at what's going on. So the graph below shows the number of oranges picked up from an orange tree over a 6-year period. So we have 1997, 98, 99, 2000, 2001, 2002. And what we're seeing here, we're looking at the number of oranges on our y-axis and the year on the x-axis, all right? So let us see what the question is about. Let's take a look. It says, which of the following is a reasonable conclusion about the graph? We're talking about a reasonable conclusion about the graph. Reasonable conclusion. So which one of these scenarios seems like it makes sense? It says, number 1, A says, fewer oranges were harvested in 2002 than 1997. So they are saying less were harvested in 1992, well, in 2002, which is this, than 1997. That's a lie, right? So it said fewer were harvested in. So we could see that this is incorrect because 2002 would be taller than 1997. So A is definitely not the answer. So what you want to do is to eliminate these ones. So the next one says more oranges were harvested in 2001 than 1998. So we're going to compare 1998. So you want to take that to the y-axis there to see which one is taller. And then we're talking about, so that's 2001, and this is 1998 right here going across. So 1998 is below. All right. So watch the question. More oranges were harvested in 2001. I must agree. So 2001, definitely there was more in 2001. So this is already correct. So since it's only one answer, I'm not going to go to the next answers, right? Because this is not a multiple answer question. So B is the answer for 9. The moment I find something that is true, then it's going to be right. And based on how the exam is going to be set up, the others would be incorrect. So you could double check. If you want us to double check, fine. Let's double check. It says the number of oranges picked increase every year. That is a lie because there is a drop in the year 2000 right here. 1999 is higher than the year 2000. So that is not true. All right. So we know that there was it's not a case where it increases every year. It went down in 2000. So this is also incorrect as we expected. The number of oranges picked a decrease between 2000 to 2001. That is a lie again because it increased because the graph went up like that. So you could see the graph going up, up. Come on, it's going up. So definitely there was an increase. So as I said to you, you really don't need to be checking when you find that one response that is correct, since there is only one answer for the question, then you don't need to even go further. All right, let's keep going. So the next question says here at number 10, in the diagram below, right? Each square is 10 units on each side, right? So what they're suggesting is this is 10, 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 this is also 10, all right? Point A and point B are center in the squares, all right? So they are center in the squares, all right? So this is clue. So this is a very, very important clue if they're center. So now we understand the values that we'll be looking for. What is the distance between the two letters A and B? Now, because we were told that they were center, we could understand that this must be 5 and this must be 5. Because if the entire thing was 10 and you're at the center, then that means you would have been at marker 5. You're being at marker 5. So then the distance between these two is to be adding 5 plus 5, and the distance between them is definitely 10 units. And we're looking for that, and it is right here at B. So B, I'm seeing where 10 is going to be a nice one for that. All right, so that's question 10. Let us keep rolling. We're going to question 11. All right. So question 11 is on screen right there. Let me minimize this just a little bit. So question 11 is on screen right there. It says, which box would most likely be the next pattern? Let us see those who are picking up patterns here. What's going on for question 11? All right. Question 11. Observe what's going on first. Don't just run in and throw away your answers. See what's going on first. See what's going on first. All right. All right. All right. All right. So let's go for question 11. I'm seeing some good answers coming out. So if you take a look at this, there are many ways you could approach this though. So we're seeing where number one start with 1, and then the second one, there is a 2. All right. But we actually wrote back the first one, and then we add another one to the layer here. So for the third one, we wrote back the first 2, which would have been these, and then we add another value, making it 3 for the last layer. So I'm expecting us to have something like this. We're going to write back this. So that is the third. And then we're going to make sure that this one becomes a 4, right? So we want to make sure that it becomes 4. Why? Because we're going to put back the third one, everything for the third. And then because this is 3 and this is 4, we want to make sure that we have 4 here. So we add another one to it, making it 4. And the answer is D. So you have to be careful. For those who pick B, I could see why you picked this one, but it missed out something here. The second 2, it missed out number 2 right here, right? So we have to look out for that. Try not to make any error. So we're seeing the first, we're seeing the second, we're seeing the third, and we added this to make it the 4th. So be careful with B right there. So if you pick B, you overlooked the fact that it missed 2 of those nice little stars, right? All right, let's keep going. Again, as you come on, hit your likes, hit the likes, hit the likes, hit the likes on the video. All right. Subscribe to the channel as we go. Question 12. Question 12 says, the pattern below goes from left to right. So we are observing the pattern this way. All right. Because if we are coming the other way, there's a whole different pattern. So focus on keywords. We're looking at it from left to right, from left to right, right? What is happening in the pattern? Take a look at the pattern. You're seeing something. Make sure that you're looking properly. We're at number 12. Make sure. So you observe, right? And after you have observed 1, 2, 3, 4 things, then you should know actually come up with some form of conclusion based on what you have seen. So I'm going to drop my conclusion. So I started off with a 4x4, and then I'm ending up with a 4x2. So if you notice, half of this is gone right now. So it's like I subtract half of it and I'm left with this. And then it's like I take off half of this and then I'm left with this. And then if I take half of this, I'm left with this. Okay. So, okay. So as we move from left to right, we're subtracting a half. So I'm going to pick D. We're subtracting a half as we move from left to right. All right. So you have to be careful, right? Be careful. We're subtracting a half as we move from left to right. And believe it or not, if you're moving from right to left, you're doubling. So you have to be careful because those who pick doubling, they're viewing it from right to left. But the question specifically says, observe this from left to right, left to right. So you're going this way, right? So you have to be careful, all right? Because a lot of times there's more than one interpretation, but you have to be in sync with what the question actually requires from you. So D is the answer. D is the answer. If you pick A, then you are not looking at the instruction that says we're moving from left to right. And that is what I want everybody to start focusing on, right? Look at the specific details of the question. All right, everybody? All right, good. So D is going to be the answer. Let's jump to question 13 and 14. I think it's coming from one concept here, one idea here. Instruction is, it says, Mrs. Donald asks some students whether or not they like strawberry ice cream. The results are shown in the table below. Use it to answer item 13 and 14. All right, so we're talking about looking at what's going on here. Understanding a table sometimes can be very difficult. So you want to look at the rows, and the rows are horizontal. All right. So we have a row that deals with male. So everything here, these are male numbers I'm putting in red, right? And if you look at the female row, right? Right. So those are for females that are put in blue. All right. And then for like, if you're thinking about liking things, everything that we like is in green. And everything that we dislike, I'm gonna put in purple. So if you do not like it, it's these numbers. So you want to see that there's a little dynamics going on here. There are four different type of things going on, and we're gonna have to be very careful as it relates to what they want. Question says, what does the 72 represent in the table? All right. So the 72, so let me just handle this. Let me take off all these stuff. So the 72, so I'm going to circle my 72 right here. 72 is right there. So my 72 would be under likes, and it is a male. So we're talking about male liking that strawberry ice cream. So we're looking for that. The 72 is representing the number of males that like strawberry ice cream. So this is what it says. The number of males who do not, it's not this. The number of females, no, it's not about females either. The number of males who do not like, no, it's not this. So as I said to you, we have to be very critical. So it says the number of males who like strawberry ice cream. Yes, the answer is D. So 13, the answer is D, right? So you're looking at what number you have, what row, you'll see it in what column it comes under. When you combine the two, you're gonna nail it. So it's a male that likes strawberry ice cream, and that is how we interpret our tables, right? Because the tables tend to give problems over time. So let us take a look at the second question. Question 14 says here, it says, if a student is chosen at random, which student is it least likely to be? Now, with least likely, we're talking about the less. So which one of these students will be of the smallest value in terms of numbers from your table? All right, and we want to be very specific right here. So question 14, come on guys, pick it up, question 14. What would you say your answer is? Question 14. So let's go for it. So we're looking at 48, and that's a female that likes strawberry, right? So it's a female that likes strawberry. So here it is. It's gonna be a female that likes strawberry ice cream. That answer is B for number 14. Very good. All right, I'm seeing some good answers coming out. Take a look, guys. Make sure that you're not making any error as it relates to these. All right, so number 15, what we want to do is we want to study this rule. So it says, a rule was used to make the pattern shown below. So we have 51, 40, 45, 39, and it keeps going. It keeps going like that. As I said to you, one of the first thing you want to try to see what happened when you subtract. All right, so you want to subtract first, honestly. Based on what I've seen over the years, you want to subtract first. I'm not saying that subtraction is the answer, but you want to do it first. So you want to do it first, and then you take a look to see what's going on for you. So as you could see here, I realized that if I take a 6 from 51, if I subtract 6, I'm going to get 45. If I subtract 6, I'm going to get 39. Okay? And if I subtract 6, I'm getting 33. I subtract 6, 27. So basically, I'm subtracting 6. If I take 6 from that 21, so make sure that you're not making any errors. So 21 minus 6 will take you to the next response, right? So if you take a look, we subtract 6. So based on the pattern, subtracting 6, it would have been the pattern that we're seeing. Definitely not multiplying by 7, not dividing by 6, not subtracting 7 either. We're subtracting 6 for number 15 at D. And if they had asked us for the number, we know that that number should have been 15 if they want the number. All right. All right, let's keep going. Number 16 says, all right, so it says there were 8 ducks, 4 pigs, and 3 cows on a farm. Which number sentence best represent the total number of animals on the farm? All right, so this one is quite easy, right? You're talking about the word total number, and you're going to have to sum the things up, which means that you want to add up the number of pigs plus the number of ducks plus the number of cows, and it's just a sentence. So we don't want a total. We want to know the operation that we could use to give us that. So we're talking about the answer would have been at B. All right, you're adding up everything there for question 16. All right, question 16. All right, so let us jump onto number 17. So I want to give you a chance to respond to question 17. What are your thoughts, right? What are your thoughts in question 17? You wanna make sure that you analyze that ladder leaning on the wall, and then look where exactly is the ladder leaning. Was it leaning at a part of the wall? Was it at the top of the wall? Stuff like that really makes a good conclusion. It allows you to formalize a good conclusion. It says a ladder is leaning against the top of a building as shown in the diagram below. Notice they said the ladder is leaning at the top. So this is at the top right here. This is top, right? So which statement is always true? Now, when I look at this, I could tell you that this ladder is taller than this wall. Why? Because if it is slant and then it end up at the top, obviously, if I was to put it against it, if I were to allow the ladder to stand up beside the wall like this, if I was doing it this way, it's gonna pass the top of that. This ladder is taller than this wall, right? Because if I slant the ladder feet and put it all the way out there and it still could reach the top, then I'm looking for something like that. But let us see what they have. One of them says, A says the distance on the ground from the building to the ladder is always half. We don't know that. The height of the ladder. This is something that nobody knows. The building is taller than the ladder? Definitely not. The ladder is taller than the building. I agree with this one, and I think I'm going to stop right here. I'm not even going to look at the other one because I'm certain that the ladder is taller than this building. All right. This one says the building and the ladder, they're at the same height. Definitely not the same height. All right. So this one is a nice one for you to look at. Very critical. You're looking at the fact that the ladder was slanted. And if you have a slant thing, and then it is still reaching the top of the other thing standing straight. Obviously, the slant one would be a taller thing, right? The slant one is a taller thing right there. All right, so I'm waiting on you guys to catch me up. We are at question 18 right now. And for question 18, I want to see the responses that will be coming out. So I want to see the responses for question 18. So before I work it out, I want to see what you guys have to say about question 18 right now. Question 18. What's going on for that? What do you have for question 18? What do you have? What do you have? So again, if you're just joining, I'm saying hit the likes on the video, subscribe to the channel. I do put out a lot of these videos, and I am actually going to be putting out a lot of performance tasks because that's the next exam coming up. So you could check also the channel for those because we have done a few of them over time, right? And if you're looking for a decent online PEP class for your next two exams, then you could contact by checking the number on screen. All right, let us see those who are putting in this answer now. Let me see what answers here. Guys, hit the likes. I don't think everybody on here is hit the likes. Come on. Hit the likes, guys. Let's like the video. Like the video. Like the video. Like the video, man. Like the video. I'm only seeing 90 something likes and we have 220 persons on. Everybody just take a second and hit the likes. It's not going to take much. All right, let's take a look at question 18 here now. I've seen some answers coming out. All right, all right. So let us see now question 18. It says, what is the best? And we're talking about best. So estimate is kind of out. Best estimate, that means we're going to be comparing things. You say, what is the best estimate of the height of this picture? Here. No, I want you to take a look. This is 5. So it's literally about 5. I could tell you, right? But remember now, this is in centimeters, right? These are centimeters here. So this is 5 meter. These are centimeters. These are centimeters. So what happened here is that this 5 is actually 500 centimeters, right? So this is like a centimeter rule that we have here. Taking a look. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So question 18. Question 18, we're looking to have for question 18. It's gonna be C. Why? Because of the responses that are there. It's a little over 5, but 5 centimeters is not here. This is 5 meters, which is way off. 53 is way off. Talking about 53 centimeters, way off. And 53 meters is actually way off as well. The correct answer is 6 centimeters because there is no 5 centimeters there to be close to that. So the closest one is C. So you have to be very careful with these, all right? Let's keep going. 19, which he said the picture below shows the weight of a fork, all right, and spoon. Based on the picture, which of the statement is true? All right. Now, what I would want you to do when you have questions like this is that you want to make sure that you're putting everything in one unit. I'm not seeing one unit here because I'm seeing milligram and I'm seeing gram. So if I'm seeing milligram and gram, I'm going to convert my, I'm going to convert, either I'm going to convert my gram, my gram to milligram or my milligram to gram. So you could make up your mind, whichever way you want to go. So if I'm going to convert my gram to milligram, it means that I'm going to multiply by 1,000. So if I multiply this by 1,000, right, to change it to milligram, right? So 0.5 times 1,000, you know, it's going to be 500 because you could move your decimal point 3 places to the right. I'm going to get 500 gram. So I'm seeing where the spoon is 500 gram. So I'm comparing 500 gram with 400 gram. So let us take a look now. So gram to gram, we could now look now. So the spoon is lighter, incorrect. The fork is heavier than the spoon, incorrect. The fork is, and the spoon are incorrect. The spoon is heavier. Yes, the spoon is heavier. So my response is D. So you want to make sure that you're picking up the right responses. all right, as soon as you go through these. So the answer is D right there for the spoon. Let's keep rolling. Number 20. So number 20 said, it says, on the first day of camp, all students were divided into 13 groups. There were 6 students in each group. Which equation represents the situation? So what you want to do is that you want to understand, basically we are looking at a dividend, a divisor, and a quotient, right? So we're talking about a division, a divisor, and a quotient. So let us see. So we're divided into 13 groups, right? So we want to divide by 13. That's my divisor. So it's same as if P is the number of persons, right? And there were 6 groups. This is my quotient right here. All right. That means P divided by 13 give me 6. I'm looking for anything like that. Something divide up into 13 equal pieces, give me 6 of them. So I'm looking for D. Sounds good for number 20 right there. So we want to make sure that we're looking, right? Just look, make sure that you're not gazing. So number 20 sounds good. B. So whatever it is, the number of persons divide by 13, the result is 6 because we had 6 students in each group. That's what this is saying. How many times would it have occurred? Hit the likes as you come on screen, everybody. Please hit the likes. All right. So it says here, Michael has a 5 stack of $20 coins. This is very nice. It's a nice question here. Has 5 stacks of $20 coins. Lamar has 9 stacks of $20 coins. All right, good. So we have 2 situations right there. So you want to dive into it. All right. So it says Lamar has a total of 1,800. We're going to use Lamar to take us out right now. Lamar is the clue. How much money does Michael have? All right, so Michael is on the back burner right now, but we want to use the information from Michael to push us forward. So watch this. Michael has 9 stock of $20 coins, 9, and the total was 1,800. So what this do for me, right? What it does is that if I am going to divide the 1,800 by 9, right? The 1,800 by 9. If you divide that, what it's going to do, it's going to tell you that each stack is actually $200. This is each stack. Each stack. So I'm just going to write it so that we could better understand what we're dealing with here. Each stack, or you could say one stack, whichever way you want to put it. So each stack is 200. So that when I have 9 stock, I have 9 times 200, 1,800. Okay. So that means if Michael has 5, I can just now say, oh, 5 times 200, then Michael must have 1,000. So we're looking for 1,000 and boom, it is right here, right? So there are multiple ways to get around to the question, but I'm just going to stop at it right there. So we're looking at analyzing, breaking down the information that you have, and then making a link and then associate it to something else. So you have to stop, relax, see the clues, use the clues to sort this out. So my clue was 1,800 for Michael, for Lamar, who had 9 stocks. So I'm like, okay, what is each? All right. So we're assuming that each of them were evenly divided. All right. So when we do that, we get 200 for each stock. So we were able to tell that Michael actually has 5 times that, which is going to take you to that. So I hope you guys are seeing what's going on here. Again, when you come on, hit the likes, like the video. All right, let's keep going. Number 22. So number 22 says, each page in a picture, right? In a picture book has 3 rows. Okay, each page had 3 rows and 5 picture fits in each row. How many pictures fit on each page? So I'm just going to mimic the idea. So I'm going to just quickly draw my page right there. And it says it has 3 rows, right? And within these 3 rows, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm seeing where for each row, I have 5 in each. So sometimes if you want to take the time to break it down, it's not a problem to break it down, right? Don't be afraid to break it down. So the question is, how many pictures on each page? 5 threes, 15. All right. So we got 15 there. So there's no right or wrong way about this. So if you're a student who would have to do a quick diagram and put it in, do what you have to do. Because the bottom line is not even about the speed. It's about accuracy. All right. So if you're going fast and you're not accurate, it doesn't make sense. I rather go slow and get it right than go fast and miss all of them. So what I'm suggesting is work out what is right for you and then keep going. Just keep pushing, keep pushing. All right. Let's go. 23. 23 says a pencil has a mass of 20 grams, right? So the pencil has a mass of 25 grams. Which of the following objects could have a mass of 100? Well, this one is kind of subjective to your experience, you know. I guess, so this one is kind of rough for you to really answer. It's all about your experience with other stuff. But basically, we could come up with a good enough uh, estimate here. So a paper clip is definitely out because we're talking about a pencil as a mass of 25. So we know that paper clips are way lighter than a pencil. So it has to be less than 25. That is out of it. A cellular phone, maybe a little bit too heavy. You understand? And then some people may say it depends on the type of phone. But generally speaking, right? And a textbook is very heavy to, you know, a textbook, you know, that's like one of your pep textbook that you're going through. But you see that little toy car right here? You know, those little ones that you buy out by the school front that looks like this. Some little ones, some little ones. Yeah, man, you normally buy them and you carry them, go home for $20, $50 maybe, and your mommy curse you and say, why you buy, waste your money buy this? Them little ones there. We want to suggest that this is a good answer. You understand? You understand? So it's a little, maybe about 5 times a pencil. Yeah. So definitely a little toy car there would be a very good suggestion. All right. As we go forward right there. So you're going to use your own experience and relate it to things and you eliminate things that are way off. So as you go, things will be way off. You want to take them out and then zoom in. So that's the way forward. Question 24. All right. Question 24 says, Jonathan has 6 marbles. We want to pay attention to that. He estimated that the total mass of the marbles is 54. All right. 54 grams. So which statement could Jonathan have used to make his estimate? All right. So we're saying that, listen, he has 6 marbles, and then the 6 marbles weigh 54. So what I want to do right now, no, the logical thing, I'm going to take that 54 and I'm going to divide it into 6 equal pieces. So you should know your timetable, though. Everybody should know their timetable. 54 divided by 6 must take us to 9. All right. So we're saying that this is 9 grams. So this is like 9 grams. In other words, then I'm saying one marble, one marble is estimated to be 9 grams. So I'm looking for that. But let us see what's going on. 3 marbles, 35. No, we don't know about that. 3 marbles, 18. No. But you see this one that says each marble has an equal mass of about 9. I like this. I like this. So what I normally do is I do my thing, look at the question, do my thing, look for the answers. This one is very good there. All right. This is incorrect too. All right. So C is very much correct for question 24. So you want to use up your division skills there. You want to divide the 6 into the 54, and then you're going to get 9 grams. And then that is where the answer is for question 24. All right. So we are pushing forward. Where are we? Where are we? We are at question 25. 25 says, Mr. Brown class has twice as many boys as girls. So you want to pay attention to this. Twice as many boys as girls. All right. So you're actually looking at a ratio of boys to girls like a 2 to 1. You're looking for that 2 to 1 sort of ratio between boys and girls. All right. So the question says, which number could represent the number of students in his class? In other words, 2 to 1 would be when you add 2 and 1, you're getting 3. We're talking about 3 proportional parts, all right? 3 proportional parts, meaning 3 parts that are equal. And then what mathematical operation now we could use to help us out? Division is very good here. We're going to be utilizing division and divisibility. Divisibility, all right? What about, we're talking about being divisible by 3, right? We want to look for something divisible by 3 here. That's so we could split up. Because if I could divide it by 3, I could give 1 2 part and give 1 1. So 20 can't. 3 can't go into 20. 3 can't go into 40. 3 can't go into 35 without a remainder. So definitely it is 30, right? So this question, there are multiple ways to do it. Some of you may sit down and say, okay, there is 20 and there is 10. Oh, boys, girls, yes, this could work. 20 plus 10, 30. Of course, it could work. All right. And as well, as long as you understand the nature of the question, you're testing for divisibility by 3, and or you're looking for, yeah, divisible by 3 this time would have helped you to pick a number. All right. But when you pick a number, you want to make sure that the number is actually doing it. Right. And they could have had other numbers there that will work, you know. Yes, man, other numbers there could have worked still, other numbers. Because if they had picked 18, one get 12, one get 6. If they had picked 15, one get 10, one get 5. What I'm suggesting is, and if they pick 3 alone, one get 2, one get 1. You understand? So it works. It works. It works. If they pick 6, one get 4, one get 2. So anything that 3 can go into right now will make this right. And that is why they only make sure that there's only one number there that 3 can go into. Honestly, only one number there. Because if they put 2 numbers there, everybody would be confused, right? So they made sure that they put the one nice answer. The answer is 30. The answer is 30. The number of students in the class. We have 30 students in the class. Be careful right there. All right, so number 26, let's look. Open your minds and look. Don't overthink the things. But there are diverse things to look at 26, right? So basically at 26, what we're seeing here is we're seeing shapes. And then they're saying then which one would have completed this pattern. All right. So there are a lot of things to look at, but I'm just going to just draw your attention onto what I'm looking at, and then I'm going to select. So I'm looking at a 3-sided figure called a triangle. I'm looking at a quadrilateral, which is a 4-sided figure here. And I'm looking at a pentagon, which is 5 sides. Boom, this is missing. No problem. But if I count this, I'm seeing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 sides. I'm seeing a heptagon here, 7 sides. And this is a octagon. This is 8. Obviously, what is missing is a 6-sided figure here. You know, this one is ugly, but that's a 6-sided figure. I'm looking for an hexagon. Here it is. So my answer is actually B. And be careful, because you may, a lot of people may grab at D, not realizing we're looking for 6 sides here. That's the missing piece. And you would have gotten that correctly at 26. The answer for 26 is B, hexagon, we're looking for to complete the pattern. I'm seeing people getting some good answers there. Very good. Very good. Very good. Look for the one with the 6 sides. Very good. All right, let us jump on question 27 here. We're jumping on question 27. So question 27 is actually saying pictures are hung, right, in a line as shown below, right? Pictures hung next to each other share a tack, right? Now it says how many tacks are needed to hang 17. So what you want to do is basically to use pattern. We're not going to draw 17 pictures on the wall and then count the tacks. But what we could do is to draw a conclusion of what we're noticing. So for one pick, so I'm going to put pick here. So let me put pick here, and I'm going to put my tacks here. All right. So put in my pick here. So I'm suggesting when I see one pick would have been 2 tacks. And then take a look. If we're looking at the 2 pictures, 1, 2, 3 tacks. And then when you look at 3 pictures, we needed 4 tacks. I'm seeing there's a pattern. The number of picture plus 1, give me the number of tacks. The number of pictures plus 1, give me the number of tacks. Therefore, for 17 pick plus 1, I'm going to be using 18 tacks. So you want to make sure that you're picking up those little number patterns, right? So the answer is actually B. So as I said to you, you have to be very open-minded. You have to be thinking. You have to be a thinker, okay? You want to be thinking a lot about the questions as they come. So definitely for that one, the answer is B, right? The answer is B. Let's go for Fabian's step. So Fabian is using blocks to build steps for his son's playhouse. His pattern for making 3 steps is shown below, right? So that's the pattern for making 3. Now let us see what else they're going at. The question says Fabian wants to make 5 steps. All right, 5 steps. What the total number of blocks? Well, you could do this a number of ways. For those of you who are very good at drawing, what you could do, you could just draw up your quick thing here. You don't have to let it be neat. You know that you're going to add one there, so you don't have to be extra neat. So that's the fourth one, and then you go again. So I mean, there are multiple ways to get there. So you could go again, and you're seeing that okay, you're doing that. So that's you adding that. But you can now check each and say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And so the answer would have been 15 blocks. Other persons could have looked at it and said, what? But for the step at the top is 1. For the step at the bottom is 2. For step up, the third one is 3, and then 4, then 5. So what we want to do is to add 4 plus 5, that's 9. You understand? And 9 plus 3, that's 12. 12 plus 2, 14, and 1, 15. You'll get the same answer. So for some of you, you may do a quick diagram to represent your thought, or some of you may look at a pattern, and then you're realizing that for each step going down, you know, if it's the 4 steps, it's 4 blocks and 5, and it goes on and it goes on like that. So whatever you use, though, make sure that you end up with 15. So I'm not going to tell you what to do, but I'm giving ideas that you could explore. All right. All right, let's go. We're at 29. So 29 says Jude needs to pay Jamaican $435 for his lunch, but he has no coins. All right. So there's no coins. So what is the least amount in Jamaican dollars? So this is based on how aware are you in relation to the notes that we have in our country, Jamaica. So you have to know that. So if you're not in Jamaica, you'll be a little bit confused if you don't know what they use. You understand? So what are we talking about here? We have $100, we're certain, right? So you could give $400 and $150, right? So that's 450. 400 couldn't work because the bill is 435. 440, we don't have that sort of note that is in coins. All right. And 500 would be too much because we could find a $50 right here. So 450, we could pay it with 450, which is the least if we're not including coin in it. So the answer for 29 has to be C, right? So 29 is definitely C. Let's keep rolling right there. It says Zidane created the following pattern. So we're seeing an alternation of colors in terms of we have a white then black, white then black, or you want to say black, white, black, white. We're seeing the colors are alternating right there between black and white. But while doing that, what I want you to do is I want you to zoom in. Is there a pattern I'm picking up while I'm seeing black, white, black, white? So you could see if you want to look at it, one is an odd number, odd is black, and then even is white. So you could see that already. So if it is even, it's white. So odd let me look at it. Odd for my black, odd for my white, and even, my bad, even for my white. I don't know what I was saying there. All right. So let me take off this on the side. So the odd ones are in white and the even ones are in black. So definitely they want to know what? What is the eighth? That's even. 8 is an even number, which means I already know that my answer is going to be black. So this is off and that is off. Now you could look. You could look. This is the second one. This is the fourth. Are you seeing a pattern? 1, 3. So you're seeing that means it's going to be black, but not just any black. It's going to be 8 black. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I have to choose my answer at C. So you want to look for the pattern and you want to be very critical and judgmental when you're drawing those conclusions as you go forward. All right. All right. All right, everybody. Let's go. Keep going. Keep going. Remember to hit the likes when you're on. Hit the likes. I want to see 200 or 300 likes. Come on, hit the likes, guys. Question 31. Question 31. It says the number in the chart follow a pattern. All right. So they're telling us that this follow a pattern, and what you want to do is to pick out that missing number. There are various patterns right now. There are so many patterns jumping out. So you could just see anyone you want to see. It's up to you. I can't tell you what to see. I'm going to point you out to a lot. I'm going to point you out to a lot of patterns. Let's go for it. If you are a person and you're seeing things, let us say you're seeing things vertically like that, then you could see what's going on. We're talking about a 15 to 18 is a 3. That means this is a 21. All right. So if you're going down, 21 is adding 3 to the 18 and add 3 to the 21, 24. So 21 is correct. But that's one way. If you're a person going up, you would have still seen that if you take 3 from 24, because if you take 3 from 18, you get this. If you take 3 from 36, you get 33. So going up from bottom to top, you subtract, you still get 21. If I'm coming slant like this, if I'm coming slant, believe me, 3 plus 15 give you 18. 18 plus 15 give you 33. You understand? That means if I add 15 to 6, it's going to give me 21. Got it again. All right. All right. And what if you wanted to go sideways, like going by nines? Because if I go this way, 6 plus 9 give me 15. 9 plus 9 give me 18. 18 plus 9 give me 27. 12 plus 9 still give me 21. I'm just saying that with these, when I look at it, I'm like, I can solve this like 6 ways. All right. So what we want you to do is to appreciate your answers, right? Because a lot of times we see things differently, but we're still ending up at the same place. All right. Same place. So guess what? The answer is 21, multiple tries, multiple ways. We still get 21. Again, if you're just coming on, could you please like the video? Come on, like the video, share it, like the video, share, and if you have not yet subscribed to the channel, Daily Maths Concepts, please do so. Subscribe to the channel. So we want you to hit like, share, and subscribe to the channel at Daily Maths Concept right here, right? And I do say that I'll be doing performance tasks for you. Uh, Over time, videos are there already. You could check them out. Past performance tasks, exams, and marathons from last year. Closer to the exam, I'm going to host another one like these. But if you're interested in joining my online class, then you could hit me up at 481-8561 on WhatsApp, and you could, get a nice class that is running as it relates to what's popping here. All right, let's keep going. Let's keep going. All right, number 32. 32 says, according to the clock, what could Tamara be watching? All right, so we're gonna have to observe our time, what's going on TV. All right, that is about how do you read tables, right? All right, we want to read table well. So first, we want to know what time is it. You need to know what time is it. Now, be careful because this hour hand is not yet on 4. So already it's not 4 o'clock. So let me say it's not yet 4 o'clock. It's not yet 4 o'clock. So I won't be watching anything down here. There's nothing down here that I could be watching because it's not that time of day. All right. So I want to take those off. So it's either I'm watching Sesame Street or Mickey Mouse. I'm just saying. So let's take a look. No, it's after 3:30, right? So 3:30 is right here. It's like 3:34. So we're talking about 3:34. What is on TV at 3:34? Boom. We would have been watching this because this program starts at 3:30. So we're watching Mickey Mouse. So 3:34, we're still watching Mickey Mouse. Mickey Mouse is at A, and there it is. So what we wanted to do is to be careful because we could be tricked easily. You understand? We could be tricked easily if we're thinking it is a 5:30. We could have picked C for the answer. So be careful as you go picking your responses. All right. Let's be careful. All right, good. Let's look at question 33. It says Kristen received $1,500 for her birthday. Her mom made a deal with her that for every day that she saved her $1,500. That means every day that she could come in and see her with that $1,500 over there, she's going to drop $50 in a pan over here for her. She's going to add. So what we want to see is that, hey, we want to make sure that you have your $1,500 there. And every time I come and I see that $1,500, I am going to keep putting $50 in the pan. So I'm forcing you not to take it out. All right. So let us put my $1,500 right here. and I'm going to be dropping the 50s in here. We're going to be dropping the 50s in here. So every time I come and I look, watch me taking a look right now. I'm going to take a look at that. Is it there? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. All right. So right there, we're taking a look. And we're like, okay, it's there. All right. So if I feel nice, I see it, I smile, and then I drop 50 here. So the question is saying, with that plan, how long will it take Kristen to reach there? How many days? So what we want to do is to let us take out the $1,500 out of this. All right. So you're talking about how long would she be having that 1.5 plus the extra money? So you want to subtract it. And when you subtract this, you're going to realize that you're really checking up how long will it take to make 2,700. But they didn't say exactly, watch this, about. So in other words, the answer that we're getting no is not necessarily spot on, but it's in the region, it's in the range, because they said about how many, about how many. They didn't say how many. If they said how many straight up, we have to nail it. So right now, what you could do is you could divide it. You could divide out this. You could divide out this quickly, man. You could divide up that into 50. So you could divide this by 50 right now. Divide this by 50 and put 5 into this, 5 into that, 5, 2, 5 into this, 4. So it's going to take about 54 days, roughly 54 days. So what you want to do now is to look to see which one of these would have made sense to us. We're talking about 54 days, and this is about 50 days. Yes, I'll go with about 50 days. About 100 days is not a good estimate for 50. 30 is still not a good for 50, for 54. 100 is not good for 54 if 50 is there. 10 is not good for 54 if 50 is there. So we're talking, it's in context, because if other numbers are there, I definitely would have to choose the number that is closest to it. So 50, 54, very good. So I hope you understand the relationship here. And there are keywords I noticed they use from now on. From now, I wanted to pick up these keywords about. A lot of times they use about. That means you're not necessarily looking for that exact answer. You're looking for something very close to it. So be careful when you look for those. Don't get frustrated. You might not see the exact answer, but they didn't use a word that will be forcing you to get the exact one sometimes. So pay attention to details. All right, question 34. Question 34 says, Mrs. Grant wrote the number 1 to 25 on a small strip of paper and put them in a bag. All right. So if she takes out a number without looking, what is the probability that it would be an even number? So what you want to do here is to make sure that you know how many even numbers can I get between 1 to 25. I'm going to write them. So it could be 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24. It's not a lot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I'm seeing there I'll have 12. 12 even numbers here. So we're going to put in this bag. So we have these 25, right? So we have 12 even, all right? So what happened is, so the question is, what is the probability to get an even number? What does probability refer to? It refers to the desired outcome that you want, all right, as a fraction, over the total possibility. We already know that the total possibility is out of 25, right? And then we want to know how many we want. We want 12. So it's 12 out of the 25. So if it's going to be picked, it has to be 12 out of 25 things. So it is as simply as that. 12 even numbers out of a total of 25 things. So if you were to push your hand in the bag and not looking, shake up the bag and then pull out, you have a chance of getting 12 out of 25. Or you could break it down, but we don't need to break it down here because it is right here, 12 out of 25. All right? All right. So 12 out of 25 is a very good answer right there to pick up. All right, where are we? Where are we? All right, so we keep going. All right. Let's see what's going on here. It says Farmer Cooper picked 5 pumpkins, all right? The smallest weigh 8. All right, you want to pay attention to details. It says the smallest weigh 8 kilograms, smallest. All right, this is the smallest, so you wanna, make note. And then the largest, all right. So the largest, I could just leave this as here. The largest is this. Farmer Cooper pick five. You see how many we pick? Only five. Okay. All right. What is a reasonable range? So a reasonable range. So now we're gonna have to, I mean, so we kind of wanna look at it from the smallest to the largest. What are the possible things that we could get? We're suggesting is eight. Let us multiply this by five. So I'm picking the smallest weight. So I'm picking five of them. So it's gonna be like 40 kilograms, right? So that's the smallest it could be right there. We can't get lower than that because the smallest one is eight. So I'm just saying, what if we had all five? Even though we didn't, but we're talking about a reasonable range. So 8 times 5 is 40, and these are small, all five small ones. But we're suggesting too, what if we had uh what if we have some big ones, like, so I'm looking for a nice range. So this is going to give me 70. So if I multiply the 14 by 5, I will get 70 kilogram right there. So in terms of a range now, talking about a range, I'm looking for 40 to somewhere about 70. Now, if I don't see this, I'm going to have to now skew my answer a little bit, based on what's going on. But definitely from 40, all right, I like this one. I like the 40 to 60. This is good because 20 is out, 60 to 80 is out, 100 today. So you could see, you could draw your own logic based on what you're looking at, and then now you look at what you have in comparison to the questions, and then you're gonna pick. Because I would not go below 40, honestly. So there's nothing below 40 that could work. And I would not go up to 80. I definitely wouldn't start at 80. You understand? So you could see that you have a range. But 40 to 70 was a very good pick. And then you pick an answer of 40 to 60. That made sense because that is actually within the 40 to 70 still. All right. So that's a good pick right there. I hope everybody is seeing what is going on here. And I hope you're understanding the questions that we're handling. All right. 36. All right, 36. I think that's a question that I run today for some reason. Yeah, I think I did this question today. It says Neva puts point X on a line as shown. All right, and you're seeing here, this is 0 and this is 1. All right, so it says what fraction best shows where Neva put point X. So what you want to do is to look that you can see that this is divided up into 4 equal pieces, not 5, right? So the marker at X is 1 out of the 4, 2 out of the 4, 3 out of the 4, 4 out of the 4 give 1. So at this spot, I am at 1 out of 4. If you were here, you'd have been 2 out of 4. Here, 3 out of 4. And by the time you reach 1, you would have been 4 out of 4, which is 1. So you want to stop and take a look. We're looking for 1 out of 4. The answer is C. From time to time, people may choose D by error. Be careful. We're talking about equal pieces, right? There are 5 lines or 5 lines that actually divide up the thing. But 5 lines actually split the thing up into 4 equal pieces. All right. So, and 3 lines could put it into 2. So you want to be careful of how you're looking at it. So just to tighten up back the idea for those who are not certain, we're talking about this. I'm going to put a blue circle in each piece. So this is one piece. Then this becomes the second piece. And this is the third piece. And here is the fourth piece. So we're talking about the marker X would have just been handling one part out of that 4. You want to look at it as simple as that. All right. So be careful not to pick that D. All right. Now, it says here, study the pattern. I want everybody to pick the answer for this one. Study the pattern below. All right. So this one may cause a little trouble. And I said may because it may not. All right. It may, but it may not. It may not. All right. So let us see. Let us see. Which number? Oh, okay. Which number? I think I see the answer already. Which number should replace the question sign? Which number should replace the question sign? So I'm waiting on everybody. I'm waiting on people. Waiting on everybody to take a quick look at what's going on here. All right. All right. So you want to be careful when you're picking. You want to be careful when you're picking this. All right, take a look. We're talking about this spot, right? So you're looking at this spot, you're looking at here. You can take a look there to see what's going on. If you really look, you take a look. This is 3, this is 10. All right, that means I'm seeing where if I take 7 from 10, I get 3. If I take 7 from 8, so I'm saying 10 minus 7, it's giving me 3. The 8 minus 7, it's giving me 1. I'm seeing this. The 12 minus 7, I'm seeing 5. I'm just going to continue because 9 minus the 7, I'm looking for number 2. So this should be 2 right here. And that's what I'm saying. No overthinking. You may, whatever pattern you see, it must be working all the way around, all the way around, right? So I'm going to be grabbing D for that one. The answer is 2 right there. All right, all right, all right, all right. All right, again, everybody, hit likes on the video. Hit likes on the video. We have been on for a little over an hour. But this is where we're gonna tap out, right? Gonna give you some time to relax and think. All right. So I'm saying again, hit the likes on the video. All right. Share this video. Share it, people. Share it because we have exam coming up. Just share it to a friend. Share it to a friend right now. Share the video right now. Share the link. Also subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to the channel right now, guys. Right. Show some love. And yeah, yes, we're at the end of the session. At the end of the session. So I'll just say thank you guys for being here. And I trust that you may come back and visit to see what's going on. And again, if you are interested in finding a nice online class to top off your GSAT, your PEP, should say your final going forward for the other exams, you could hit me up right here and we could talk. All right. So I'm leaving you guys and thank you for being here. It was a good one.